Hello and thanks for joining us from our studios in Israel. I'm Aaron Porras here with ILTV's Morning Brief. For the first time in Israel's history, a sitting prime minister set to stand trial under charges of criminal corruption. And after Premier Benjamin Netanyahu's petition to skip the first hearing this Sunday was shot down by the court, tensions are high. Security for the presiding judges is being ramped up ahead of the May 24th appearance. Netanyahu's team arguing that with increased security in a small courtroom, the proceedings would violate social distancing measures. But the prosecution did not find that to be a good enough reason for the premier not to attend. So, what are the charges that he's facing? First is Case 1000. Netanyahu is charged with fraud and breach of trust because he and his wife Sarah are alleged to have received almost 700,000 shekels, or over $200,000 worth of gifts from Israeli Hollywood producer Arnon Milchan and Australian billionaire James Packer. This in return for help in private business dealings. Neither Packer nor Milchan face any charges. Next is Case 2000. Again, Netanyahu is charged with fraud and breach of trust for allegedly negotiating a deal with Arnon Moses, owner of Israeli newspaper Yediot Ahronot. In this deal, Netanyahu would allegedly receive better coverage in exchange for passing legislation that would damage the growth of rival newspaper Israel Hayom. The legislation did not pass, though, and Moses is under indictment for offering a bribe. Finally, Case 4000, aka the Bezik affair. This is arguably the most serious case, in which Netanyahu is alleged to have passed regulatory favors for Israeli telecommunications company Bezik. Favors totaling about $500 million, or 1.8 billion shekels. And in return, Netanyahu would again receive positive news coverage, but this time from Walla News, which Bezik controls. Former Bezik board member and controlling chair of Walla, Shaul Elovich, and his wife Iris have also been charged with bribery and obstruction of justice. Now, the 7 charges together, carrying a sentence totaling of up to 22 years in prison and or a fine. All the defendants named in these cases, including leading Prime Minister Netanyahu, are denying any wrongdoing, Netanyahu maintaining that he's a victim of political and media witch hunts. As for what's expected in this Sunday's historic hearing, the charges will be read in full, and Netanyahu will submit his plea. The hot weather seems to be helping. The long-awaited answer as to when Israelis can travel to beaches further afield for the summer months, the Seychelles, an archipelago off the east coast of Africa, is setting aside an island exclusively for Israelis. But exclusive really is the word, because a destination like this doesn't come cheap. The idea is that Israelis will be able to indulge along the pristine coastline which touches the Indian Ocean without having to risk mingling with people from other countries. Just over a 2 hours flight away from Israel, Greece also announcing it will kick off its tourist season. On June 15th, seasonal hotels in mainland Greece will begin to open to foreign guests. And on July 1, international flights will gradually begin heading directly for holiday destinations.
Στους επισκέπτες μας θα γίνονται δειγματοληπτικά τεστ και θα τηρούνται τα γενικά υγειονομικά μας πρωτόκολλα, που δεν θα σκιάσουν ωστόσο ούτε το λαμπερό μας ήλιο, ούτε τη φυσική ομορφιά της Ελλάδος.
Israel is expected to be amongst the list of countries in the first wave of international visitors allowed into the country, which should be announced before the end of May, and hotels are already gearing up.
Και στο πρωινό, ώστε να αποφεύγεται η οποιαδήποτε επαφή, τα πρωινά τα σερβίρουμε στα δωμάτια, έχουμε καταργήσει το χώρο του πρωινού, αλλά και τα τραπέζια, εάν θέλει κάποιος πελάτης να κάτσει στον ελεύθερο του χρόνο, τα έχουμε απομακρυσμένα ώστε να μην έρχονται σε επαφή και να μην υπάρχει συγχρονισμός.
Cyprus will reopen its airports in June 9th. And as for flying into Israel, officials are weighing up removing self-isolation requirements for travelers from 5 countries: Greece, Cyprus, the Seychelles, Georgia, and Montenegro. Talks are underway about adding Austria to the list as well. Celebrations over the birth of a new government mirrored now by celebrations for the birth of a new baby. Blue and white Knesset member Mirav Cohen welcoming her 3rd child and her first son overnight. This just 4 days after taking charge as Israel's newly appointed Minister of Social Equality and of Minorities. Now ahead of her election to the Knesset, Cohen, best known for her social activism in socioeconomic issues, particularly on employment and housing in Jerusalem. That's all for now, but for more news from Israel, remember to like ILTV on Facebook and on Instagram, and to subscribe to us on YouTube. I'm Aaron Porras, and see you later with our main daily broadcast from Israel at 2 p.m. Eastern Time.